SDA says the population white paper that says by 2030 we want to have a higher population of 6.9 million in Singapore. That is their goal, and SDA is very much against it on certain grounds. Number one, as he explained, our infrastructure may not be ready to take up this influx. Could it be possible that as we keep increasing, we are already having overcrowded MRT stations? Our bus interchanges are full. There is thank you, sir. Plus, everywhere you go, give yourselves a big hand, because this is our problems. And he rightly mentioned that these are the issues that are being faced. Maybe our infrastructure was not ready yet, and the government started bringing in too many people too fast, and we need to have a slowdown. Crazy. Thank you, ma'am. You are right. No brain. Oh, wow. Thank you. Give her a big hand. She said the right words. That was very crazy and no brains. So SDA says we are very against the population white paper that is rushing to bring it up to 6.9. And I've been getting messages because we spoke about this at length in Pasir, Ris-Punggol GRC. But the government, if you notice, in the last few days, they have not been mentioning anything about this population white paper. There seems to be some radio silence from the outgoing government. Ladies and gentlemen, as we do the walkabouts, as we go to the coffee shops, as we knock on your houses, every Singaporean is crying about this population paper. You go to other rallies by other parties, they are also starting to talk about this. But the outgoing government has not mentioned anything in the last few days, and we wonder why. We will propose a very strong cut down on these until the infrastructure is ready. And I like to reiterate, please remember, SDA is not against foreigners coming into Singapore. We love the ones who are the foreign talent, who help to teach us even skills we may not know, who bring in all the industry knowledge that we need. But to keep them forever, that's also another question. Second thing, we are always welcoming all the investors who help our economy, because please remember, SDA also wants the economy to go up. Number three, the foreign workers that are coming in, we welcome them because there are certain jobs that Singaporeans are not ready to take up. But SDA strongly stands against the middle people, the foreigners who are coming in and taking away the jobs of our local Singaporeans. I spoke about, thank you. I spoke about this. Yes, thank you. I spoke about this at the other rally, and the example I gave was some Singaporean lady who shared her story that it was a foreigner supervisor who was giving more rights to the foreigners when she was taking them on the job. But this afternoon, before I came in here, a fellow Singaporean called us, and he said, Palji, if anybody says all these stories are not true, he said on the phone to me, I am a Singaporean, you don't know me, but I will come forward and I'll tell you, because the same problems are even happening in my workplace, where our own Singaporean brothers and sisters are not being given priorities because foreigners are willing to take our jobs, which we are very capable of doing, but at maybe a little bit of lower pay. Give our jobs back. Our people need it too. He also said to me on the phone just now, because the foreigners, their families are not here, they are willing to stay back after work. They are willing to come back on the weekends. But he told me on the phone, I'm a Singaporean. I have to go back to my wife. I have to take care of a little child. On one side, the government says we don't have enough children. On the other side, you don't give me a proper work-life balance. How will I be a good father to my children? Yes, and most importantly, the third point that he said to me very simply on the phone, Palji, I'm willing to come up because I was afraid in the last election. Now listen to his words, because maybe it is not just he who's talking. He said in the last election, some people told me, maybe your voting is not secret. You vote, they may know you didn't vote for the outgoing people. But he said, yes, it's wrong, huh? But he said to me on the phone, and I quote, he says, even if they know, although I know today that my vote is secret, but listen to his words. He said, my fear is gone, because more painful is the bad situation they have put us in. And I don't care even if they know against them. But I want to reassure all voters of Pasir Ris-Punggol and Singapore, your vote is secret. When you go to voting this September 11, your vote is secret. Tell your neighbors that too. I know that fear is gone, that fear is going away. We are much more educated, and we all think just because of certain running numbers they may know. Does not matter. Yes, thank you, ma'am. The important thing is be brave. Let us all be brave. Turn to your neighbor and say, be brave. Turn to your other neighbor and say, let's vote for the right people. Yes, SDA. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen, I just want to go through quickly the 19 points that we have in plan for Pasir Ris-Punggol that I mentioned earlier on local issues, because the next speaker is a super inspirational speaker. When he speaks, even I move. And I tell you something, whether he speaks later in English or Malay, you will hear that power coming from within. So I'll leave that for him to charge you up. But I want to just cover these 19 points, because Pasir Ris-Punggol GRC residents, please remember that first and foremost, the 6 of us are going to be your representatives, taking care of local issues and making sure the town councils and all your needs are met first and foremost, because you have the power in your hands to put us in this position. And then secondly, we will be the voice in Parliament for both you and the rest of Singapore. So I'll just take 2 minutes to go through the list. Now, if I elaborate on each one of these points, it's going to take another hour or so. I invite you all to go off. When you reach home, go onto our SDA tube, and all of these have been listed, plus more detailed plans. But in simple things, number one, we're going to appeal to the government to bring forward the MRT construction plans for Pasir Ris-Punggol. Number two, a lot of you have told us we need a regional hospital here. Number three, we need more schools and childcare centers. Number four, a water taxi to link up the Punggol settlement, Pasir Ris and Changi ferry terminal will be planned for. Number five, we are also planning for a link road between Pasir Ris and Punggol via the Lorong Harus. Number six, some of you have been asking for a LRT link between Pasir Ris and Punggol. Remember, I told you there are 42 proposals that came in, and we looked through the best 19 to see what we can put forward. Some of you have said we want to have fishing farms to operate floating seafood restaurants. Some of you want us to have town councils to provide for better services to the residents. And those of you who just joined us, I promise you and I reassure you, the town council in Pasir Ris-Punggol will be an example for the next 5 years if you give us your mandate to run it, because he has 14 years of experience running it, and our shadow town council is already being trained for the big 1 year and more. Give yourselves a big hand for that. Next thing, there are many residents who say, I am ready to serve you and work within the town council, and in this area should you be elected. Give me a job. Yes, we will give direct employment for all administration, conservancy, landscape and essential services. Residents will be given priority. First priority, residents of Pasir Ris-Punggol to be employed by the town council if you are qualified for these positions. We will also start an employment and service matching program to make sure that no Singaporean PMT ever goes hungry. Give yourself a big hand too. Now, we are facing an aging population. I'll tell you something, every Singaporean has the ability to help your neighbors. So our proposal number 12 says we will start a special befriender program as a neighborhood watch, which will help to watch out not only for your brothers and sisters in Pasir Ris-Punggol, but also at other environmental issues, safety issues, and defects within the estates. We will be always ready to serve you. But if you see something that can be improved, if you see something that is wrong in your areas, you are the first ones who are faced with those problems. Immediately give us a call, reach out to us, and we will run over as fast as we can to serve you. Say yes. Yes. Next, we also want to appoint every block, at least one block representative, because communication has to be two ways. There was an old generation where someone needed to stand up and tell them what to do and they followed. But today's society in Singapore, education level has gone up. Each and every one of you is empowered to think for yourself. Each and every one of you is smart enough to even be here. Each and every one of you can lead. And that's why we need one of you in every block to become that block representative, to be the voice within the block. And as you come together, we will also improve Pasir Ris-Punggol. Say yes.
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 But it is all not work, but it's also enjoyment. So every 2 weeks or so, we want happiness. Remember, we spoke about it earlier? So every bi-monthly, we will try and plan special parties which will bring the community together, which will bring us together, maybe even increase our national identity, maybe even give us a chance to talk to fellow neighbors and get together, feel the love, feel the passion for Pasir Ris-Punggol. Every half a year, we also are going to have a constituency township meetings so that we are open, transparent, and totally accountable to all of you. Give yourself another big round for that. Every year, and we're not going to wait for 5 years to say what happened with whatever not. But every year, we will have a town council meeting to open up our accounts, to show you the progress reports, to show you what we have done. And thank you for your big hand, sir. But this is needed today because the electorate is already ready to ask for accountability. And if we are going to ask the government to be accountable, then we are ready to be accountable to the people of Pasir Ris-Punggol. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now the next one, when we put up these 19 points on the net about a month ago and on our websites, the outgoing MPs, they picked up on the next one and a few others and started already firing us. They said, how can they say number 16 is going to happen? How can they even say number 19 will happen and so forth? But I'll tell you something, our last few proposals are very important. And please listen to this. Pasir Ris-Punggol is one of the largest GRCs. We have nearly 188,000 voters here. Every person, every family may have special problems that are unique to you. I shared with you the story of some of your neighbors who are frustrated because for so many years they have been going to the MPs who are outgoing MPs. They have pleaded, they have begged, letters were written, but nothing was done. And I quote to you, one of your neighbors gave us this recording because the MP came knocking on the door. He had a notice outside saying, you don't knock if you don't return my CPF at 55. Say wow. Wow.
Wow.
But they still knocked. Maybe the English fonts was too small. But the font I saw was big. But they still knocked. And when they opened the door, we have audio recordings. That man staying in Pasir Ris-Punggol was angry because he says, 4 times I went to you, 4 times appealed. You wrote letters, but if you still can't do anything about my problem, then what are you there for? You might as well move back.
Forget it.
This is your voice, people. So give us a chance, because what I'm going to say next is going to be very hard work on all 6 of us. But before we came forward, we all decided and we said we're going to dedicate our time, our effort, and our whole energy to the people of Pasir Ris-Punggol. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And if need be, we will be here every day to have daily meet the people sessions with you to make sure we listen to your problems, because there are 6 of us. Never mind if some of us take that little time off, the rest of us is a strong team who's going to listen to you with our daily meet the people session. So your voices, your problems will be overcome and your stress will be gone. Say thank you. Thank you. And the last 2 is this. After the next speaker, I'll be giving you a letter of testimonial to back up what I'm going to say now, because it is all to do with his 14 years of experience in running a town council. And right now it has been made a big issue, so I have to bring it up again and again to take away that fear, if even little bit you have left. Because we promise you as our number 18 proposal for Pasir Ris-Punggol, that after the transfer of adequate surplus to the sinking fund, whatever balance we have will be given back to you, the people of Pasir Ris-Punggol, as a rebate for your S&C charges. And that's the confidence we have in taking care of your money. Say yes. 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 And last but not least, all this is a lot of things to be done. You know, when we put up these proposals a few weeks ago, Facebook is an open thing. They picked it up from my page, our pages, and they started rebutting this, especially the last one. But the last one we think is the most important. In today's generation, the people want a change. Say, yes, we want a change. Yes. Number two, the people, the electorates are smart enough, savvy enough to know that their members of parliament cannot be part-timers who got 20 other responsibilities and jobs, but need to be here all the time to listen to you. Say yes. Yes. And that's why the last proposal, which may be difficult, but we will do it for you, is that we promise to be full-time MPs, because politics is not a game. Politics is a serious matter. And if you think people can do 100 other things and still take care of their voters, then they are wrong. We promise to be full-time parliamentarian and also be ready for you all the time to take care of you. And we need to be there for you. Say yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for saying thank you. Give them a big applause. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And I end off with this before inviting the next speaker, that we can't do this alone. Ladies and gentlemen, the SDA was here in the year 2006. We were here back in 2011. And now we are back again in 2015. We have always been walking the grounds. We always have been here for you, and we know your pains. So the last request I have before I hand over to the next speaker is that in your hands lies the real power. If this September 11 you exercise that power and you give us your mandate, you put us in, we will do the best, if not beyond best, for all of you. Give yourselves a big round for that. Thank you.